Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on with these markets? Well, we're long overdue for a correction, right? But the biggest correction we've had since April is like 1%, right? Is 1% a correction? I don't know. Maybe we just go straight up. But I think that most of you are catching on. Most of you are starting to see that it's obvious what's really going on. It's just the big print, we'll call it the big print of money, right? Everything's going to go up. And that's what's really strange, right? I mean, like you got the stock market record high, gold record high, Bitcoin record high, houses holding up very strong. Everything's going up, right? It's a whole everything up there, everything bubble. Bubble's never been bigger, right? Now let's talk about how this is going to play out, right? We have two big problems right now. Two big problems I want to address today. The first problem is inflation is far from dead. Even by their own numbers, it's running 3%. Measured the way in 1980, we're up over 8%. 8%, and they're already cutting rates. Well, why are they cutting rates? That brings me to the second problem. The second problem is that our government is flat broke. Our government has no money. Our government can't even balance a budget, right? I mean, it doesn't have any money. It's got to print the money, and that's why we're doing the big print. But we got inflation and we got a broke government. Now, how is this going to play out? Well, we look at the debt, right? We're approaching $40 trillion. $40 trillion, right? By the time that Donald gets out of office, we're going to easily be at 50 trillion. Now, you just do the math numbers. I could teach this to a fifth grader, but you multiply $50 trillion by 4%, right? I mean, you're over $2 trillion just to pay the interest. So that just gets sucked out right off the top of all the tax receipts, right? So you see, there's not any real way to grow ourselves out of this debt problem. You see, we're approaching 130% debt to GDP, right? I mean, we're in some real dire times. We got the inflation raising its head. Now you go back to the 70s, right? I mean, that's when Volcker came in and he had to club inflation over the head. He had the guts to do it because he could do it then. You can't do it now. You have to let inflation run. You have to let our country hyperinflate. But Mike, no country's ever hyperinflated that has a reserve currency. We don't have the reserve currency anymore. The reserve currency is gold, and you can see gold sniffing out this hyperinflation coming. But when Volcker did it, right? Volcker, he came in and he clubbed inflation over the head. He raised it up to 20%, 20% interest rates, right? That's what had to be done to get inflation under control. Inflation was running out of control. Now, back then, he could do that. He was not 130% debt to GDP. Back in the 70s, we were about 30% debt to GDP, right? Okay, so GDP was about $1 trillion and our debt was under $1 trillion, actually about 900 billion, and GDP was almost 3 trillion, $2.8 trillion. So there was about 30%. We're at 130% debt to GDP. And everybody said, but Mike, we got AI. We're going to grow our way out of this. I got news for you. AI is losing a lot of money, right? I mean, it's fabulous. I love it. It's the best thing I've ever seen, right? I mean, it's incredible. It does all my work for me. I really love AI. But who's making any money on it, right? Who's making money? It's going to get rid of a lot of jobs. But who's making money? I don't think they're profitable. They're nowhere close to profitable. Now, everybody says it's not like the dot-com bust because they do have some revenues. They bring in 100 billion, but they spend $1 trillion to bring in the 100 billion. It just doesn't work. The numbers don't work. This is going to send everything crashing down, just like in the dot-com bust. But not yet. It's not time yet. You can tell when it's time. If you want to know, just watch the HYG. When that starts dropping below the 20-day, below the 50-day, then it's time. Then they've lost control. But right now, they're still going to keep printing the money. They think we can grow our way out of this. We cannot grow our way out of this. You got to look at the difference between today and back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, we had a trade surplus. A trade surplus. We haven't had a trade surplus. I don't even know when the last time was that we've had a trade surplus. We have a big trade deficit. Back in the 70s, we were a manufacturing powerhouse. I mean, we made everything and we did it really well. We got rid of all that stuff. We shipped it offshore so we can buy cars cheaper. We can buy appliances cheaper, right? We don't need to make anything here. We don't need that. You know, we got other stuff we take care of here. We take care of the dollar, right? We make dollars here. We ship those dollars out to the other countries that manufacture the stuff. Okay, now we got to ship out a few more dollars because of the tariffs now, but that's what we got, right? Well, what else do we make here? We're going to be the crypto capital of the world. We got the crypto president in there, and we got the crypto first family. Look at Donnie Jr. Look at Eric. They're so happy. They're making billions, $5 billion already just since Daddy's been in office. They're going to make over $100 billion, right? Just on the stable coin market. I mean, it's really fascinating. So my point is, I'm not picking on the Donald. He does a lot of good things, right? But my point is that he's got to keep printing money to keep his family afloat in the crypto market. So you're going to see crypto go up, right? I mean, you're going to see Bitcoin keep going up. You're going to see the stock market keep going up. You're going to see gold exploding higher. Oh, man, you got to get some real money. I mean, I love real money, gold and silver, right? I mean, every day just feels like a party. I can wake up, oh, look at silver's up another couple bucks. Oh, that's great. Look at gold. It's flying today, up $80. You know, I mean, it's good. It's good. It's going to have some down days too. I mean, we're at these numbers. We're at this juncture, let's call it. I mean, we're just $2,000 in gold not that long ago. I mean, I was telling you to buy it back at 1,700, but we were at 2,000 not that long ago. And now we're right up there butting our head against $4,000, right? $4,000, that's nothing. Nothing. Drop in the bucket to where it's going. Don't get me wrong. You got to look at what the Donald's doing. Not what he says. Not what he says. I want a strong dollar. No, he doesn't. He wants to print as much money as he can. He wants to flood the liquidity in there. And what happens? It debases the currency, right? He's debasing it as fast as he can. He's upset with Jerome because Jerome won't debase the currency fast enough, right? And I'm not, once again, not just the Donald. It's every president that we've had. Biden actually trumped the Donald. He got the record for the most money printing. Don't worry, Donald's going to double what Biden spent. And that's why you got to watch what he's doing, right? You got to protect yourself. I mean, they're going to just keep this thing propped up. They're going to keep it going. But $4,000 on gold, nothing. Now, here's the thing. $50 on silver, nothing. Nothing. Those numbers don't mean a thing. You add a zero to those numbers when you get, $500 silver, $40,000 gold. Then you wake me up because it might be time to start trading for other assets, start trading for some of that cheap real estate. A lot of people think real estate's going to go to the moon, right? They think this big print's going to send the houses up. I don't think it's going to, right? I think it's going to send the long end interest rate up on your mortgages. I think they're going to get above 10%. Short end, they're going to definitely lower that to zero. And that's going to be weird, right? I mean, you're going to have a big inversion, right? 0% on this 2-year bond, and you're going to have the 10, 20, 30 years all up above 10%, 10, 12, 14%, probably in that order, right? 10, 20, 30, 10, 12, 14. I'm telling you, it's going to be that way because the bond vigilantes know what the Donald's doing. You see, a lot of people can catch this. A lot of people can't catch this. I mean, you got some people, they just don't have a clue. They don't realize how quickly their house is coming down in terms of real money. See, they think their house is staying up there. No, your house isn't staying up there. We're debasing the currency as fast as we can so we can charge you those high property taxes, right? Eventually, the housing market's going to crumble down along with the stock market, and they're already crumbling big time compared to gold. Stocks down about 70%, houses down about 80%, but they got farther to go. I mean, like I keep telling people, you just take 500 ounces of silver, stick it away. You can trade that for the average price home. On gold, when you go 1-to-1 with the Dow Jones, right? Dow Jones, 46,000, right? We're at an all-time record high. Everything's great, Tall Mike. You come on here and you preach this negative news. Why? Because I can see it. Can't you see what's going on? Can't you see the big money print? 46,000 on the Dow. Look, it's down 70% compared to gold. Just go back in time and take a look. Pull up the numbers. Yeah, yes, the Dow's up, what, 12, 15% this year. Gold's up 50%. Why? Because they're printing the money as fast as they can. Now, gold's going to have a pullback. Look at gold's probably going to, at some point, it's going to come down 10%. I wouldn't wait to buy it to come down 10%, but sure, it could go from, where are we at today? 3,800. Could drop down to 3,400. Absolutely. But it may wait till it gets 6,000. Now, I said when the Donald leaves office, gold's going to be at 6,000, but I underestimated the Donald. I really think we're going to be at 7,000 or 8,000 by the time he gets out of office. He has it in his heart to print as much money as he can so his boys can make it in the crypto market. Now, that crypto market, that's the Fugazi stuff, right? That stuff's going to disappear. They're coming out with the crypto debit card, right? Crypto credit card, whatever. The Donald Trump boys, those guys are geniuses, right? I mean, they got the credit card coming out attached to crypto, attached to Fugazi. They can have unlimited spending because they're going to do the stable coins. Stable coins, it's just like printing free money, but it's not the Fed that's going to be printing it anymore. Each company's going to be printing their own money in the form of a stable coin. The stable coin is now going to be official money, right? Now they say it's got to be backed by the treasury bond, but who knows if they do? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they just sell them and just pocket the money. There's going to be so much Ponzi scheme stuff already going on. We just don't see it yet. That's what makes me very nervous about this market. But I'm telling you, see, the Donald, he's got one thing in mind, and that's to steal your purchasing power and to steal my purchasing power. It's not just him. It was Biden too. Biden was stealing your purchasing power, my purchasing power. But the Donald, he's an overachiever. He's going to steal it at a faster rate. He's going to get that gold up. He's going to kick Jerome out. Worst case in May, right? He's going to bring his boy in. His boy's going to get it down to 0% right away. But once these stable coins come in, maybe they'll figure a way to get the negative in nominal terms. Can you imagine leaving money in the bank and they just take 10% each year as part of the great bail-in? Look, they don't have the money to bail the banks out. FDIC's broke. We gave it all to Silicon Valley Bank, right? I mean, those people weren't even insured, but we had to give it to them. They're Silicon Valley people. They shouldn't lose money. Those poor people in Oklahoma, those fools, they lost money, right? They got bailed in from their bank because the FDIC said, you don't live in Silicon Valley. You're not important. You don't live where Tall Mike lives. Where Tall Mike lives, they will bail you out. You live in Oklahoma, you deserve to lose your money. That's what the FDIC said. I mean, it's very sad how they pick and choose the winners and losers in the game. You're going to see so many banks coming down, you see, because a lot of this is just a big problem. The banks are the bag holders, unfortunately, again. I mean, they were the bag holders back in 2008, but we bailed them out, right? Because we felt sorry for them sitting there holding the bag. We had to go in and bail them out. But now this time it's going to be too big. We're not going to bail out the banks. They're going to take your money. Don't leave too much in there. Now, I personally have too much in the banks. I get that. I'm trying to kind of wind that down, but there's really, I do it in a systematic approach, take a little bit out, go down to my coin shop, get some real money, right? That real money is the thing right now. I mean, everybody's starting to notice, but 4,000, that's nothing. $50 silver, that's nothing. You're going to see a zero put on both of these. You're going to see $40,000 gold. $40,000 gold. Maybe the government resets it tomorrow at $40,000, but I don't think that's how they're going to do it. I think they're going to reset it at $10,000, again at $20,000, at $30,000, maybe again at $40,000. So we will get to $40,000 gold, and believe me, silver's not going to be sitting here at $50? No, it'd be well above $500. So you might want to pick some up at these cheap prices, but be warned, gold can come down 10% from here. Silver could easily drop 20%. That's gold's wild child, right? I mean, it just moves up and down. It can move 20% in both directions in one day. Actually, they got triggers that stop that from happening, but silver is very volatile, right? I mean, the other day it was up $1 and closed down $1. I mean, and then went back up $1 the next day. It's all over the road, right? So 20% in silver is very possible. You do it from $50, you could drop all the way back down to $40. I believe that's a possibility. People tell, but Mike, that's impossible. Silver and gold only go up. No, 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 no. I am the biggest silver and gold bull. They're definitely going to go up over the long run because the Donald's going to outdo himself. He's going to print so much money that you can't even believe what's going to happen. You're going to be shocked what happens to gold. You're going to be shocked what happens to silver. Now, they're trying to come after the gold, right? I mean, this is interesting. The futures contracts, I'll just go over this before closing, but in the gold market, right? Gold's starting to go up, starting to hit that $4,000. A lot of people want delivery. A lot of people in the silver market, same way, $50. So futures, you're levered out there at 10 to 1. You can be levered out at 100 to 1, right? So to buy a $50 ounce of silver, you may only have to put up $1, right? But you do this at a big scale. You do it at 5,000 ounces. So you put $5,000 in and you control all of that silver, and all of a sudden it moves against you. You lose everything. But here's what they're doing now. Here's how they're getting you out of it. They're starting to raise the margins. You see, they're not letting you trade at 50 times, 20 times. They're lowering the margins. It was 100 times, now down to 50. Then it's going to be down to 40, 30, 20, 10. Pretty soon it'll be like regular margin. You have to come up with half the money to buy the futures contract. That's how they're getting you out of it, because they don't have the silver. They don't have the gold for delivery. So they want to get you out of those contracts, and they're doing it by actually raising the margin in the futures pits. They don't actually have futures pits anymore. It's actually all online. But anyways, that's what's going on, and how they're trying to get your gold out of your hands, how they're trying to separate you from it. They want to separate you from the real wealth. They want you to look over here at the Trump brothers, right? I mean, they want you in that Fugazi. They want you in the stable coin. They want you to have a crypto credit card. Everybody should have one. That's what I think. Anyways, if you like this stuff, give me a thumbs up. Punch the subscribe button. Get out there, buddy. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.